Welcome to Real Estate Essentials. I'm your host, Jay Deere. We all have a friend or family member that got an incredible deal on a home, but the question is how'd they do it? Well, if you pay attention to this show, I want to show you some of that insight. On today's show, we're going to be talking about trees with our friends over at Harmon & Sons Tree Service that are Gephardt approved. We're also going to be talking about Xeriscape with our good friends at Husky Landscaping, as well as showing you some of the incredible homes for sale in our market. All coming up right after this on Real Estate Essentials. I'm Jay Deere. I've been on top of Utah's real estate market for over 10 years. I will show you things about this market that you never knew. So I've got April and Mitch, and they're here with Harmon & Sons. They're lawn and tree care specialists. So today we're talking about fruit trees and all this kind of stuff going into the fall, right?
Trees in general. With the fall here, it's a good time, especially today we're going to talk about fruit elimination. And
What's that mean, fruit elimination?
Well, a lot of people just think of your apples and cherry trees and things like that. But actually, a lot of trees have different fruits and seeds on them that it's nice to be able to get rid of maybe a nuisance problem. In my yard, I have the little wild plums, and my grandkids love to smash them onto my flagstone and make a big mess.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not big enough to actually can or do anything with, so we want to get rid of them. We don't like them all over the place. So my arborist here, Mitch, he actually has an injection method, which is kind of cutting edge and green. We're going green with this, to inject that tree and make those plums not actually fruit.
So you actually inject the tree.
We do.
And make it so it doesn't give fruit.
We do. And then cottonwood trees. A lot of people don't think of that as a fruit, but cotton is a real big nuisance in the summer for a lot of people.
Yeah, because I used to live down in West Provo, and the cotton trees would start, you know.
It looks like snow all
Yeah,
over the place.
it did look like snow, didn't it? And so you guys actually inject the tree, and so is this healthy for the tree, or how's this work?
It's not harmful for the tree at all. It's not adding any additional nutrients. It's a type of a growth regulator where we go around the base of the tree, we do several injections, and then the tree kind of does the rest of the work for you. What it does is gets into the vascular system of the tree and prevents the fruit from ever producing the following year. But this is definitely a time to do it.
This is really cool because normally I got to go in and blow all that stuff all over, and it goes all over, and it's hard to control and hard to get the right timing, right? Because they normally have to hit it like perfect or something.
Exactly. In the springtime, where most companies will go out and they will hit it with a topical growth regulator, and basically they have about a 1 week window where they have to hit that just after the emergence of the buds. And if they don't hit in that time, they don't get very good control of the fruit. So where we do the injection in the fall and prevent the fruit from ever producing in the first place.
This is really cool. Now, do you guys do other stuff with these trees by injecting them and stuff, or do you just keep fruit from growing on them?
No, we can inject for insects, disease.
Really?
Yes, iron, fertilization, all that stuff.
So Mitch, you being an arborist, you can go by and look at a tree that's struggling and look at it and say, it's lacking iron. Because we've all had this issue, right? We going into fall and our tree's struggling, and we're like, oh my goodness, I hope it's there. And you're always waiting to see if it's gonna bud. And you know, I've had this. Exactly. And so you can actually look at it and decide it needs this, from your experience, it needs this, and you inject it and bring it back to life.
Well, our services are very focused, and you should have a certified arborist go out and do an inspection of your property to see if you have any issues going on, or if you just maybe need a little bit of health and wellness treatments, or sometimes nothing. But with our service, we find what the issue is. Is it a nutrient deficiency? Is it an insect issue? Is it a fungus? Is it a disease? Is it a pathogen? And focus our injections on that specific problem for the tree. You know, when we find that issue, there's really no need to do any topical treatments of that tree where we're having to get the product out into the environment, around your kids, your pets. This is all enclosed. It's a completely closed system where the tree, pretty much like I said, does the work for you. It's very, very effective.
This is really cutting edge stuff. This is really cool. This
no
is
waste
super exciting.
Of product.
Yeah.
It's great, and actually we do a lot of work for Salt Lake City Urban Forestry, and they've got a lot of really large trees on their east bench that have been there for years, and a lot of them have problems developing with anthracnose, which is a disease that we can actually go up there and inject that tree and save it.
Yeah, this is super important because if you have a 10-year-old tree and it's starting to die, I mean that's 10 years worth of growth that you won't replace.
You can't replace it.
This service is invaluable. So if somebody wanted to contact you, how would they reach you if they have trees that are in trouble or they just don't want fruit?
Yeah, they can call our office at 801-771-2000.
Okay.
Or contact us on the internet at harmonsons.net.
Well, guys, thanks so much for coming on the show. This is super cool stuff. You guys come back. I'm looking forward to see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ABC4 Utah wants you to ask the expert. During our 4 p.m. newscast, you'll see experts from Utah answering your questions on a variety of topics.
Options Animal is here to help you take control of your financial future.
Every Tuesday, we will answer your questions on the overall financial markets and how you can effectively manage your own investments.
At Options Animal, we understand that nobody cares more about your money than you do.
Just go to abc4.com/expert and submit your questions to our experts today.
So I'm here with Chad Holmes with Landmark Home Warranty. And Chad, do you know what the number one reason for a lawsuit in a real estate transaction is?
I'm not sure, Jay. What is it?
It's actually buyers suing sellers because they didn't disclose something.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is interesting.
And the reason why is, you fill out these disclosures about stuff, and let's say a buyer buys a property, seller fills out, says they haven't had a problem with the furnace. They actually had this happen. Buyer moves into the house, closes on it, moves into the house. A month later, furnace blows up.
Right.
Now, before, they had no choice but to go after the seller and try and sue him, say, you knew the furnace was bad, you just didn't tell us, right?
Right.
But the seller's sitting over there saying, well, we had no problems with the furnace. We didn't know. Because sometimes it's just, you never know, it's like a car. You buy a brand new car and the thing, it was great when they sold it, but then all of a sudden the new buyer and the thing breaks.
Right.
And so we actually have this process, right? And that's exactly what you do, which is home warranties to cover this sort of issue, right?
Absolutely, that's what it's there for.
And I actually had this happen. You helped me out with this. I actually had a seller or a buyer that closed on the house, and they moved into it. And I kid you not, it was probably about 2 months later. Furnace blows up, and he called and thanked me, and he just said, Jay, I thank you so much for getting that home warranty on that thing, because it saved my butt. Because what do you do, right?
Absolutely, and that's what it's there for.
So tell me a little bit more about what you guys do and how it works.
So what we do is we cover the home buyer for a period of 1 year after they close on the major systems of their home. So their air conditioning, their furnace, the electrical, plumbing, appliances. And so if there is a problem after they move in, it's just like they said, you call our office, we send out the appropriate repair person. Homeowner pays a service fee.
How much is that?
It's $60.
$60 to have a professional come out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then we come out, diagnose it, find out what's going on. We either make repairs or we'll do replacements if necessary, if the contractor deems that it just can't be fixed properly.
Yeah, that's what they did. They actually got a brand new furnace.
Yeah, so it works out great.
How much? I don't know. It must have been like a $3,000 furnace, probably.
Yeah, and we work through, those issues with the homeowner, determine what's going on, give them options so they know through the process what to expect. And then, if it does need to be replaced, we'll go through that with them and make sure that they're comfortable in the process of putting that together.
Yeah, great. Now, who normally pays for this sort of thing?
Here's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, so what happens most of the time that I see it is the sellers are paying for the warranty in the buyer's behalf.
Because the buyer writes the contract, right? And they send it
Yes.
over, because I always ask this question,
Yes.
do you want the home warranty or not?
Right.
Of course they want the home warranty, and who's going to pay for it? Well, who do you want to? Do you want to pay for it? Or do you want the seller to pay for it?
Right.
And it's just one of those things. And I always pitch it. I always say, because it's true, get a home warranty. Because the last thing I don't know about this house. I never lived in it. I don't know much about it. I mean, we walk through it, we get home inspectors and stuff, but we really don't know.
Sure.
And so we want to make sure that because in the end, I just want to make sure my clients are taken care of and satisfied, right?
Right.
And so the nice thing is, so when we write those things out, we always want the sellers to pay for it because the buyer writes the contract, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I just did one, though, was the first one I did where we split it 50-50.
Yeah.
Because I was actually what they called a limited agency, where I was sitting down with both buyer and seller. And I was sitting with them. I said, well, of course I wrote it with the buyer, and then I met with the seller. So, actually let me take that back. I actually hadn't written the contract. I was on the phone with the buyer because they were going out of town or something. I was literally writing the contract in front of them and said, okay, home warranty. And I kind of explained it to them both on the phone. And I said, well, what do you guys want? Yeah, they both wanted it. And they said, can we just split it 50-50? And so that's how it all worked out.
You know, and it can work out that way. It can work out anyway, really. And if the seller isn't going to pay for it, like in the instance, sometimes banks won't pay for the
That's true. On short sales, they will not pay for home warranties.
Right, so the buyer can still buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still available to them. And
How much does one of these things cost?
So our policies start at $300, and then they go up from there depending upon the options that you add to it.
And the time, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
And so a normal one is about a year, right?
About a year. Yep, it covers it for a period of 1 year. And then the homeowner can, if they want to, renew it as long as they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great, and it protects them for as long as they want to have it in force.
Yeah, and I know you guys do a tremendous job. That's why I brought you on the show. There's a lot of people that I can choose from, but I know about your product and what you guys do, and your company stands behind it, so I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely, and we would love to have happy homeowners, you know?
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's got to buy a house and live in it, right?
That's exactly
Might as well
right.
enjoy it.
There you go, exactly.
So if they wanted to get a home warranty and they wanted to contact you, how would they get a hold of you?
So they can either go to our website, which is landmarkhw.com, or they can call our toll-free number, 866-306-2999. They can catch us either way.
Chad, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
Welcome to Market in a Minute. Been doing some numbers. If you were to buy a house back in August of 2012 versus buy it in August of 2013, the cost to buy that house right now is about 44% higher. And so that lends the question, is our market out of control? What should we be expecting? Well, interest rates are going up, and the job market is extremely strong here in Utah. So watch, the market's going to cool down a little bit as we go into the holidays, which is seasonal, which is expected. But as we get into spring, this thing's going to go again. And so if you're thinking about getting in the market, don't wait. Sometimes you can take advantage of really good deals, because sellers that are trying to sell their house during the holiday season will sometimes take deals that they will not take in spring, thinking that they're going to wait it out and get a better deal. So oftentimes you can really get some good deals during this time. So if you're in the market, don't stop now.
I woke up not knowing if I was going to feel sick that day, not knowing if I was going to be able to go to school or go to work.
I was extremely fatigued. I was sleeping probably close to 16 hours a day.
It was a hard way to live because you don't understand what's going on in your body and you feel like you should be healthier in your habits and you just feel horrible.
Are you suffering from low thyroid or Hashimoto's? Do you have any of these symptoms? Our breakthrough approach for low thyroid and Hashimoto's is here.
I feel like a regular healthy person.
So we're here with Darren, and you see all these people on TV, and they're buying these homes, and they're fixing them up, and they're flipping them and selling them for more money and stuff. But the question is, how do you get a loan, Darren, if you want to flip a house?
Well, a loan to flip a house is going to be a different loan than the loan that you got to just purchase the house that you're living in. Because the one that you got to purchase the house that you're living in is called an owner-occupied loan. Okay. And those you get generally the best terms on because they're the least amount of risk. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple of other kinds of loans. There's the non-owner occupied loans, and then there's what I call short-term loans. So a non-owner occupied loan would be the type of loan that you would get to buy a home that you would keep for a long time but you don't plan on living in. Okay. So maybe, like
a rental.
A rental, exactly, okay. Rental. So, and the biggest barrier to those loans is the down payment. Okay. Generally you need 20% down, but to get the best terms you need about 25% down. Okay. And your rate's going to be a little bit higher, expenses are a little bit higher on that loan.
Because there's a little more risk to the bank.
There's more risk to the bank.
You don't actually live there and you'd be like, oh, that's the first one I should let go.
Yeah, you got it exactly.
Okay.
You got it exactly. But that kind of loan is not suitable for a flip because they want you to hold those loans for roughly a year. Okay. That's the idea. That's kind of a long-term thing. So if you're going to use one of those non-owner occupied loans, you want to just go ahead and hang on to that property. Now, if you don't have a big enough down payment, one angle that you could use is if you have a family member that can qualify, they can move into that property, you can co-sign with them, and then they would get owner-occupied terms. Oh. But the lender, again...
So that's like a creative way of doing it.
That's a creative way to do it. Okay. It's totally legal because the person that is occupying the house is truly owner occupying that house, and the lender expects them to be in that home for at least a year. Okay. Okay, so again, those are long-term approaches.
Ideally, they want you to be in there for a year.
Correct, okay. Correct, that's right. Okay, so short-term, so flipping, you want to flip this house, you need some money fast, and you want to pay it back fast. Yeah. So regular conventional loans, FHA loans, do not like to be paid back fast. They like that year.
They like the season. They
That's
like to
right.
make those
That's right.
interest.
That's right. They like to season.
So what do you do?
So short-term loans, there's a couple of different creative ways that you can find to get money.
Okay.
The very first one that I always have people look at is if you own a home and it has equity in it, then you're always better off pulling money from the home that you own because you can get the best terms. So a lot of times you can get a line of credit. You could even do a
So
cash.
you refinance your house, pull the money out, and then you use that as a down payment on your investment one.
Yeah, then use that to buy your investment property, flip the property, and then put it back.
Okay.
So that's
Or
a great
keep it
idea.
out and just let it revolve into the next
Exactly, yeah, but at least it gives you that kind of money to work with. Another way to do it would be to get a hard money loan. Hard money loans are designed to be paid off quickly.
Okay.
So they don't have really great terms. They generally have higher interest rates. Sometimes their fees are a little bit higher. But you can use those loans to go in, purchase a property, get it fixed up, flip it, and pay the loan off quickly. That's the whole idea.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of small businesses around, conglomerates of people that offer hard money loans.
Do they have sticks and stuff and follow you around if you don't pay?
Well, it's actually a really good question because if you don't pay those back, then generally they're in a position to foreclose on that property, and they're in a really good equity position. They want your property.
Yeah, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why you got to be you got to be careful when you're dealing in real estate, and that's you got to deal with a really good lender. You got to deal with a really good agent because it can get out of control really quick, and people get really surprised, right? They're like, I never expected that.
That's right.
I thought I only had to come in with 5% down, and I'm going to buy this house, and all of a sudden they come in with 25%, and then they got to try and fix the property up. They don't have the money to fix it up, and now how are we going to get out of it?
That's right. I have a friend actually that's a hard money loan lender, and he always tells his clients, number one, you don't want to do this loan with me, and number two, I can't wait to foreclose on your property because I'm getting the property at 30% off.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. So be careful when you're doing that sort of thing. And thanks for coming in, Darren. Appreciate that input.
Pleasure to be here.
Searching down home flyers is so 1980s. If you are ever driving around and you find your dream neighborhood, all you need to do is download Jade's free mobile app. Using this app, you can search for homes, investment properties, and vacant land available using your phone's GPS. What you need to do is text JSLC to 87778. Text JSLC to 87778.
So we're here with Zach with Husky Landscaping. And so, Zach, are we in a drought?
We're always in a drought. We're in Utah.
Okay, so I guess we're hoping for a good winter this year, but we're not sure just yet, right?
Yeah, everyone needs to either pray for snow or just hope for snow, I guess.
Okay, so if let's say we don't get snow and we have another bad year, let's talk about xeriscape and what that might look like.
The best thing is just remember that we need to conserve water. We're in a desert. Everyone knows that. We talked about that before, and we want to design accordingly so that if there is a drought year, we can cut back on water, not have to watch all of our money go down the drain in dying because they're not getting the water that they need.
Exactly. Now you have a project that you were just working on where a lady wanted to do a xeriscape, right, as they call it, and there was some sort of issue or something. What was that?
Yeah, the neighbors, didn't like it. They didn't
like the idea, right? Because they didn't know.
Yeah, it's just I think they were ignorant to the fact of what it was, and it's not the typical grass everywhere and kids running on it. She is a single lady. She doesn't have the budget to be able to maintain it or can't do it herself. She has health problems. So she wanted to put in a xeriscape so that she could save money on water and she could, save money on maintenance also.
Yeah, because she wouldn't have to take care of it, right?
Exactly.
That's the beauty with it.
The neighbors even went to as far as getting a petition together to send to the city so that they would stop, and the city was like, what are you guys talking about? This is what we want. We want you to do this because, we're in a desert and we want to conserve on water.
Now, this was before the fact, though, right? Before it was done. This was kind of the idea. They were just so fearful
Yeah, it was in the process. So she was coming to me going, I don't know if we should keep doing this. We need to go. I'm like, no, just keep doing what we're doing and just wait and see what happens.
And so what happened?
So the city actually gave her an award for the Clean and Beautiful Award of West Valley City.
Oh, really?
And, they
And so how are the neighbors feeling now?
I think they're eating crow. I mean,
They are?
They can't really say anything.
And we've actually got some, we're actually showing it on the screen there so you can actually send some pictures. It's absolutely beautiful. You did a great job. And so is it like a typical job, or because Xeriscape can come in so many different, I mean, it can be big rocks and small rocks and...
Yeah, typically Xeriscape's a little bit more as far as like budget's concerned when your initial install, but you're going to save money. She's probably already paid for the project 2 or 3 times over in water savings.
That makes sense. So you pay a little bit up front because you got to pay for all the design and all the rocks and all the stuff that you put in there. But over the time, you don't have to maintain it. You just cut down on all the lawn care. I mean, just the mowing the lawn every day, or every week, I guess in this case, right? I don't mow every day. Some they do. I know. I see some of those lawns, but then you don't have to worry about all the watering too, and so it theoretically pays for itself.
It does. Over time, it really does.
So are you doing more of these now, or what
yeah, we used to. 10 years ago, we'd do maybe one a year. Now we're doing one a month, maybe.
Oh, really?
Or not. The one you saw was a full-on 100% Xeriscape in the front yard, but you can incorporate some of those design elements in your landscape and not have to do all just rock mulch and plantings that would just be drought tolerant, but you can add in some areas that you could enjoy but have that same theme and
so you can mix and match.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Because I know I had a half acre when I lived down in Linden, and it was a nightmare. I mean, to try and maintain that's all I did. I used to like to go out on my boat, and I never did anymore because all I did was maintain that big yard.
Exactly.
It was horrible. Yeah. So yeah, Xeriscape would have come in handy.
So you kind of have to match your personality and see what you need in your landscape, and that's we sit down and have that consultation and see what.
And this is what you guys do. You go in and design it and help them see the big picture.
Exactly. And you need to remember though, it's not for everybody. Like if she tried to resell her home, she's only going to attract a certain demographic of people that would want that in their yard.
But she could go in there and modify it afterwards and then add some grass or something, right?
Yeah, a little bit you could, but like in her yard, she kept her backyard just a normal standard landscape. So, but she cut her water bill in half basically by doing that.
Which was good for her.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can always, it's like anything else, you can redo it if it comes time to resell, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So you kind of design it for yourself and then redo it. Correct. Well, you always do a great job. I really enjoy having you on the show, buddy. Yeah. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, if they wanted to Xeriscape or do anything having to do, because you do everything, right?
I do.
You were just talking about building decks and stuff, right?
Yeah, we do. I can't say I because all of our crew. Yeah, exactly.
But you're the head, main guy, right?
Exactly.
You're the boss and
I'm
main
the man.
Employee. Okay, but you point them in the right place. The head laborer, is that what you like to call it? Yeah. Okay, so if they wanted to get a hold of you, how would they contact you?
Just they go to huskieslandscaping.com, or they can reach us at our phone number, 801-712-2575.
Great, buddy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it.
You don't need someone dropping the ball on your mortgage. Recruit a professional. Darren Rhodes, Utah's Mortgage Pro. He's got the skills, speed, and experience to win the best financing for your home. So draft Darren today at utahmortgagepro.com.
So Darren, we're headed on down to Polo Club Court in the Equestrian States, right there in South Jordan. Beautiful property. One of the many things I liked about this property is, of course, their gorgeous landscaping.
That's a big lot. How big is that thing?
It's actually just over an acre, but it felt much larger than that, I'll be honest. Going inside, they've actually lived here for 13 years. They built it themselves and designed it themselves, and they did a really wonderful job. That light fixture you see right there in the picture actually came from Venice. Very tastefully done. The whole house was very classy and, and they had a lot of different styles that they mixed and matched together, and really just, this house flowed really, really well. The ceilings in that room must have been at least 20 feet tall, and those beautiful windows in there.
Is that looking out into the back?
Yes, the beautiful backgrounds that they just look out to, and all the decks. They got decks on either side of that. Heading on into the kitchen here, they actually designed the kitchen around that copper range hood, and also that kind of green sink. And that was kind of their idea behind the whole colors and design of this.
It looks like they even have 2 sinks.
Yeah, they got one in the center. Not
Right
only
on.
do they actually have 3 different kitchens in this house, one on each different level.
So there's 3 levels on the house?
Yeah. Well, it's a 2-story conventional, and then they've got a basement, which is it's a walkout basement, but it's more kind of a push-up basement. We'll see it here in just a little bit, where they actually push the basement out and then have a waterfall running down into it. And this, I really liked this area. They were really, really creative. On the one corner of the house, which would be the north side, they built a master suite, which, you know, we know what master suite is, where you normally have your master bedroom and you got your really nice master bath like this. But then they also wrapped in, going off of that, then they've got a sitting room to watch their movies, and then they've got their office walking through also. It's a really creative design. I haven't seen it done before. Going down to the basement here, you can see that walkout basement. They were really creative under the stairs. I always like that.
I think my daughter would love that.
Yeah, right. There you can see their walkout where they pushed it back. This is one of their other kitchens. Did you see the guy tuning his guitar there?
Yes, I did actually. Good background in music.
Yeah, it's right in their home theater room, which you got to have, right?
Absolutely.
Really nice craft room. They had a ton of storage in this house. Beautiful craft room. Then they had another separate craft room and storage to die for. Had it onto the back deck, as you can see. Look at those grounds. Spectacular.
Is that part of the walkout basement there?
Yeah, you can see how that just kind of, they step down into there. So Darren, what would financing look like on this property?
Well, the list price appears to be $1,695,000. So you're going to be in that jumbo range again. That would mean that you'd want 25% down in this price range, which would put you at $423,000 and a little bit. So your loan amount's going to be just shy of $1.3 million. And if your APR is sitting at 5.8 on a 30-year fixed mortgage, you would expect your payment to be just over $7,000 a month, exactly $7,378. But remember, that does not include taxes and insurance. That's just your principal and interest portion.
Beautiful property. Look at that, they got their own putting green, and I practiced all afternoon so I can make this one shot.
Boom.
Thanks for tuning into this week's show. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, we'd like to feature your experience on our program. Look us up on Facebook at Real Estate Essentials with Jay Deere. Now remember, real estate is all about timing and local knowledge, and that's what we go over here on Real Estate Essentials.